Hi, Clean Eaters. My name is Nivium Sharino, and I'm the Fit Mom from the Fit Mom Chronicles. I'm also the owner of the Fit Mode Squad. I first wanted to tell you thank you so very much for taking this week and committing to this next week with me as your coach in the free Clean Eating Challenge group. I wanted to tell you a little bit about myself before we started, and I also wanted to share with you some information about the group. First, I wanted to say that I am not a fitness expert or a nutritionist or anything like that. I'm kind of just a person that has been through a 3-year journey, and I've learned a lot along the way, and I am wanting to share because I'm very passionate about helping others, and I am committed to ending the trend of obesity. I grew up in a Puerto Rican household where vegetables were not really included in any meal of the day. I didn't like them, so I didn't have to have them. And meals always consisted of a starch with a side of starch with a side of a fried meat and then more starch. So, it was a fun time. I enjoyed what I ate, and as I got older in school, we learned about what we should be eating. But because I was never required to eat that at home, it was kind of like, okay, I know that I should have a salad at some point, but we don't really have it at home. I don't really need to have it. I've never really had it before. I'm not a big fan of it. So it kind of just skipped it, you know what I mean? As I got older, I really didn't think about it. Until I just started noticing a pattern in the women in my family. I come from a mom that had 7 sisters, and I realized when they, all 8 of them had some sort of chronic condition that they needed to take medication for. And that made me really sad. Diabetes or high blood pressure or any kind of condition, all kinds of gallbladder surgeries and things like that. And I kind of just sat on the sidelines and was just kind of waiting for when it got to me, because, I saw it in all my aunts, I saw it in my mom, then I started seeing it in my cousins, and then I started seeing it in the next generation of cousins, and it was age-wise getting closer and closer to me, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be me soon, what am I gonna do? But, it's nothing I can really do about it. I kind of just have to wait for the prescription that's given to me by my doctor. Then I had children, and it was actually after I had my son, I wasn't feeling well, and we went to the doctor. I actually thought that we may have been having number 3 on the way, because I was just having some weird feelings, and it was just really messing with my ability to function during the day. Come to find out, I had hyperthyroidism. Specifically, I had Graves' disease, where your immune system decides to start attacking your thyroid, and your thyroid, in order to defend itself, goes into overdrive. I had to see an endocrinologist who gave me a couple of very scary options. One was radioactive therapy, where they would go in, completely burn out my thyroid, and I would have to be on a lifetime of hormone replacement medication. But the worst part was the fact that I would not be able to hold my children for a minimum of 2 weeks, because I would literally be radioactive. And it meant I couldn't hold my children. I couldn't sleep in the same bed as my husband. I just had to stay away from them because they weren't sure what side effects it would have on my family. And that was really tough for me to have to deal with at the time, and really scary, because I just had a baby. The other option was to take medication that will try to force my thyroid into regulation. The medication was very strong. The medication itself had fatal side effects, and it could essentially make my kidneys fail, and I'd go into shock. and there was really no preventative measure because the effects could be sudden. So it's not like I can go in and take blood tests regularly to make sure that my kidneys weren't being affected. I could be fine one day and the next day they could just be shutting down. So although it seems like a very scary option, I went with the medication because I didn't want to not be able to touch my children and be with my husband and just be myself. So after a year's time, finally I was weaned off the medication and my thyroid is functioning again. Granted, it's not completely in the past, like it can show up again. So I decided to take some healthier measures into my own hands because first off, having any chronic condition, I realize it's not something that you just sit on the sidelines for. You do something about it, and if you can prevent it, you do that. And secondly, I realized that sometimes even the medication that's supposed to help us can actually hurt us. So I tried very hard from that moment on to live a cleaner and healthier and more natural life to the best of my ability. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm perfect because I'm truly not. It's a struggle every day and I learn more all the time, but I'm making progress. I take small steps every day to change my life in the future because in the end, my biggest why, which is the reason why I do this, is to live a longer life for my family. And if that means that I can't have that extra slice of cake that I really, really want and I feel I deserve, then I can't do that, and that's it. Granted, it's not easy, but that's what I do. So, clean eating, what is it? Is it like this scary monster that everybody makes it out to seem? It's not. Clean eating is just mindful eating, which is basically knowing what you're eating, understanding what you're putting in your body. It's trying to eat food in as close to its natural state as possible. It's, trying to stay away from preservatives and additives and chemicals and all those additives that are added into food to make them look better, taste better. But the fact of the matter is, it's not natural. It's not how it was meant to be. So when we make changes to food, there are adverse side effects to our bodies, whether it happens immediately or later on in life. So why do that to yourself? So clean eating is just mindful eating, being aware of what you're eating, where it's from, how was it prepared. It is not like a raw food diet. It's not like gluten-free diet or anything like that. The meal plan that I prepared for this group this week is actually a new one. I wanted to update it, make it mirror more of what I actually eat during the week because, I do eat normal people food. I don't eat like hemp seed pudding or something like that. I eat regular stuff. I just change it up from time to time and I just don't go to certain foods or there's just certain things that I just don't touch at all. So throughout the week, I'll be giving you a lot of little tips and tools that I've learned, hopefully in an effort to make your learning curve a little bit shorter than mine. So the meal plan was set up to also be as simple as possible for meal prep because on Sundays before the start of our group is Meal Prep Sunday, which is when you prepare all your meals for the week. And this is really, really important because if you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. I'm telling you, the biggest saving grace is knowing that your food is already prepared for you so you don't fall to temptation. Or even just knowing that you already spent the money, spent the time on the food, and it's already sitting in your fridge and all you have to do is throw it in the microwave to heat it up. That sometimes is my motivation, not to waste food. So Meal Prep Sunday is really, really important. A lot of people try to bypass it and they do not find success. I'm telling you, because when you're hungry, the last thing you want to do is try to think about what you're going to eat or knowing that you're going to have to spend the next 20 to 30 minutes cooking when McDonald's is down the block and it'll be 5 minutes before you have a burger in your hand. So meal prep is really important. And because it's so important, I set up the meal plan so that you just have 3 to 4 meals that you switch out throughout the week. They're basic meals. They're chicken, hard-boiled eggs, toast, things like that. Real food. Now, if there's something that you don't enjoy, you're allergic to, or it's just not your favorite that's on the meal plan, I also supplied you with a swap out list, which is like on the meal plan, there's tilapia. If you're not a fish eater, no problem. You can swap it out with turkey breast. If there are other things that you want to swap out that are not on either list, let me know and we'll talk about it. We'll figure it out together. This is not about being perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. This is about progress. So, that's as far as the meal plan. I also gave you the grocery list so that you can go to the store and get whatever you need. I've saved it in the group as a file, but I also saved it as a photo so you can grab it from 2 different places. The next thing is exercises. I have found some pretty cool free exercises on YouTube. They're not as good as Beachbody exercises, but I have a preference. But they're free programs. I'll be posting those up too. I'll be posting up tips, information. It's really important though that regardless of how much I post, you guys share, because the point of this is to be a support for one another. We're here to keep each other accountable, which means making sure that we're all committed to what we're doing and what we're saying we're going to do. But it's also to support each other. You know, it's hard. This is not easy. And to be honest with you, I've been on this journey for 3 years. And for a lot of those 3 years, I was kind of by myself until I found challenge groups. You know, I would go to the gym. I would not really talk to anybody because that was just out of my element. And I'm just not the type of person to walk up to a stranger and be like, hey, what up, girl? It's just not in me to do that. So I would go to the gym and I would have some serious mental struggles and I had nobody really to share it with. You know, there's only so much I can nag my husband about. It's, you know, sometimes you need another person, another ear, another shoulder. And it wasn't until I found challenge groups that I was able to find that. And I've actually made some really strong friends through those challenge groups because they understood what I was going through. You know, it's tough even now, like having a day of struggle and being like, I had this cookie today and I just couldn't not have it and it was so good. You know, someone would look at you like, just eat the cookie, so what? That's not what I want to hear. You know, I'm on a journey. I also don't want to hear, if I did eat the cookie, you shouldn't have eaten. You know what I mean? So we're here to help each other. We're here to support each other. And it's really important that in order to do that, we share. This is like judgment-free zone. This is a please vent here zone. We all know that this is not an easy thing to do. But that's why we're here, to help each other and to be there for each other. A couple more things before I finish this video, which is already kind of long. Water is really important this week. It is recommended that we have 8 glasses of water a day. A glass of water is about 8 ounces, so that's 64 ounces a day. That's our minimum. Yes, minimum in this group. If you don't drink water, that's what I want to get you to this group. By the end, though, my personal goal is to have everyone drinking a gallon of water throughout their day. If we do nothing but drink more water, that alone will show a difference in our waistline, just so you know. The next thing is weighing in and measurements. This is important because we need a record of where we're starting from so that we can see at the end of this week how far we've come. So when you weigh yourself, I want you to do it first thing Monday morning before you eat anything. I want you to understand that that number on the scale does not define you. It does not say who you are, where you are, or anything about you. It just gives us a number to start recording some data, okay? Weight on a scale measurement, it has so many variables involved that we put a lot of importance on it when fact of the matter is there's very little true reflection in that number. Measurements are important because it helps to show you how your body changes, because you can be losing inches before you lose anything on a scale. You can tell when you're losing inches because your clothing starts fitting differently on you. So that's just something for you to know about. We do need those numbers in just for data's sake. Just also so you know, it's not recommended that anyone lose more than 2 to 3 pounds in 1 week period. And there are some special situations, but it's recommended to keep it within that range, because that leads to a less potential for a rebound effect, meaning you gaining all that back and then some. Losing anything more than that will also lead to some health concerns. So, that all being said in a very long video, welcome. Thank you so much for spending your time with me this week, and I can't wait to get started. I'll talk to you guys soon.